I think that what you'll hear from Sunak is similar to what you've heard from a lot of Western leaders, with maybe a bit more nuance, with each of them contributing slightly differently. But what we heard from Biden yesterday, which is basically unflinching support for Israel, and again, this sort of deterrence factor, one that can be really summarized from the United States standpoint in a single word, which is don't. A single word that is backed by two aircraft carrier groups that are headed for the Eastern Mediterranean right now. And then there is this third question, and this is really where everyone wants to see progress made, and that is the question of aid. Getting aid through the southern border of Gaza, through Rafah, from Egypt into Gaza, where there are literally hundreds of tons of aid just sitting there. We've heard some positive sounds from the Israeli side, positive sounds from the Egyptian side, but today that aid still sits there, and we had a resolution overnight put forward to the UN to kind of create a sort of ceasefire or a safe zone to get that aid in. It was vetoed by the United States because that resolution did not include a part that stood for Israeli self-defense.
So, Oliver, Biden's speech was really pretty unwavering in terms of support for Israel. Does that complicate things for Rishi Sunak?
I think to a certain degree, because we hear this from the President of the United States, and really when you hear that message in Israel, it is taken obviously very positively by the people here, but within the region more broadly, it's seen as the U.S. as just a proxy for Israel. And so we have to think about what in that speech was there for the rest of the region, particularly since the diplomatic leg of that trip to Jordan was canceled. One thing that I found interesting was his reference to 9/11, where he said the United States sought justice after 9/11, but it made many mistakes. And he's cautioning Israel about how they go about dismantling Hamas, and that they need to stay clear-eyed on their objectives, and they need to also question, as they go down that path, is the path they're going down actually achieving those objectives? And I will also say the thing that he mentioned at the end of his speech is that really what he seemed to suggest was the only way you're going to get a durable political solution to this problem is with a two-state solution.
So what's next?
So we're hearing, again, we'll listen for anything that we hear from Rishi Sunak today, and we'd like to hear what his tone is, what his conversations are with the Prime Minister here in Israel, if there's any progress made there. There's also the potential for a summit in Egypt of Arab leaders. We've heard about that a little bit. It's been reported by Egyptian media. We don't have a huge amount of detail, but that would take place on Saturday. And then, of course, maybe the biggest thing we're watching for is Biden's speech tonight, planned at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from the Oval Office. That is a space in which the president speaks really when he has something very important to convey. And we understand from Bloomberg reporting that he wants to put a $100 billion package before Congress to deal, one, with support for Israel, but also for Ukraine. And let's not forget also some of the other issues, which is the U.S. border, which are being sort of rolled up into this bill.